Guys, Nintendo, after a sizable investor came in and bought a large chunk of the company. Yes, the identity of the investor was all online, but also there's all the possibility of a possible takeover being brought up. Let's go over all that tonight. Also, we are going to be talking about another game that's been pushed into 2023 with last anniversary being canceled, and we're also going to be going over Sony and their big partnership and they talked a little bit about it, guys. If you enjoyed these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you keep up to date with all the uploads. Here on the channel, we're going to start today with Final Fantasy VII. And still hanging out waiting for part 2 after getting done Final Fantasy VII Remake. We now know that things are a bit different and it's a story in front of us. But let's take a look at this. This is cool stuff over on Push Through. But we're going to get a plan for game's 25th anniversary next month. Of course, the game came out in 1997. It's so weird to think about that, by the way, that it's been 25 years since Final Fantasy VII came out. Anyway, we're going to push Square Enix to cancel our title of Final Fantasy VII. Series veteran Tetsuya Nomura teased that news regarding Final Fantasy VII's 25th anniversary will be dropping next month. Obviously, speculation. We find out any more information around part 2. Maybe it's a series now, whether it's a cutscene giving us ideas to where they're taking this whole thing, or merchandise and then more people celebrate the 25th anniversary. That's like a lot of possibilities here, but certainly we're going to keep our eyes out next month. Also, while the new generation is now moving underway for Microsoft, the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, it looks like the first time the updating to the Xbox 360 received this. Like January saying, maybe more than 2 of you. We reported that kids are no longer working on Xbox 360 consoles. A service fix is being deployed. If you still see problems at 24 hours, please let me know. I mean, we've been joking about this. I mean, I do wonder how many people are still using the Xbox 360 regularly online. At this point, I feel like most have moved up to the Xbox One, but I wanted to also bring this up just to see if any of you are still using your Xbox 360 online, or I don't know, any different Halo games, or Gears of War, Minecraft. I know there are still several good games on the 360 that maybe you want to break that system out for, but still, I mean, the Xbox One, Xbox Series, I just don't see a lot of people talking about the Xbox 360. There are 2 people out there who let them know there was an issue. While we're now looking towards 2023 for Microsoft being released with Starfield, they'll still make their projected release year with 2020. This is over on Twitter from Robo saying, I hope the Sword game won't get delayed for the team. And then Spawn came in a couple days later and said, we're still on track for launching this October. And, you know, I did forget about Sworn there for a little while. I think that I'm sure there's still work to it, but it's not really the big splash game I think that Microsoft wanted to have for 2020. Starfield was kind of like a complimentary game that came out alongside it. October makes a lot of sense though, like the first-person horror style game. It'll be kind of slow, and I'm sure a lot of people think it's kind of gross, but hey, it's a game. There's at least that will be dropping into the Game Pass later on this year. At least that's still the idea coming out. And guys, with some quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo, but not necessarily any of Nintendo games. This having to do with the business side of things. And an investor that was reported yesterday that called to stir up blood. See this over on Twitter. Kashimachi says Saudi Arabia investment. That's the PIF. Saudi Arabia? Well, because Nintendo is a publicly traded company, they don't have any say in who's going in and buying shares of that company. In fact, the story here from Bloomberg and others, Nintendo basically found out when it was reported on the news. First thing you consider, right? You're Shigeru Furukawa, you walk in the lunchroom, you look at the TV, and it's like, oh, the PIF has now invested millions of dollars to become one of the largest shareholders in Nintendo. Now, a lot of the controversy around the PIF investing in Nintendo and a lot of video game companies, obviously, are their policies and human rights issues in Saudi Arabia. I think it's also very important to note here that the governing body policies and human rights and all these things that go on there isn't necessarily reflective of who live there, so keep that in mind. But I saw concerns from people that maybe a push for a takeover of Nintendo, and something has to do with what happened with SNK. I think some people are still unaware that SNK is like 96 or 97% owned by Saudi Arabia at this point. So actually, you can commit with $1 to 5% of Nintendo. You're wondering, well, hold on, are they going to keep going further with this? Because with SNK, they came in initially with I think like 20 or 30% investment, and then very rapidly swallowed up SNK. I don't think that's the case here with Nintendo. I legitimately think they are saying this is for investment purposes, because if you were trying to diversify hundreds of millions of dollars, as they're saying, you're probably looking at some more successful places. I mean, gaming is massive right now. A lot of revenue coming in. We see Nintendo doing incredibly well, and there's a lot of anticipation for what's after the Switch. I think it has momentum. Not a bad place to invest, really. So this is going to change the way Nintendo does anything. That was another concern that I saw on the line. Again, this is mostly this transaction where not have a place card. Asking about the next gen. I think just now at this point, people are becoming more and more aware of where the investments in these companies are coming from. Whether it's Tencent from China, where they're investing in all kinds of different companies, or yes, even the UAE of Saudi Arabia investing a ton in all the industry. And that's sort of where we are now. We're getting to the point where even if your morals don't apply to investors, you're basically going to end up out of video games because these investors are trying to find their way into the company. Next up, let's talk about a game that has not only been delayed in 2023, but also had the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions just canceled. We can see this posted up over on Gamatsu. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown delayed to 2023 with PS4 and Xbox One versions. And now it's originally going to be coming out September 22nd, and now we're seeing a 2023 clear. We'll, I guess, find out more information as we get to the end of this year. The thing that's very interesting about this, the current platforms that still yet to be the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, the Switch, and PC. And that's right, the Switch is going to be a version here, but not the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, which is kind of head-scratching for a lot of people. However, it's also important to note that they may not necessarily even be developing the port for the Switch. I mean, we'll find out more information about that as it gets released. But they may also be looking at a 2024 and they're like, it's worth developing the version for the Switch One. Driving games are kind of few and far between when it comes to simulation racing games. And of course, that's like Mario Kart that's incredibly popular. But having it here on the PS4 and the Xbox One, maybe the performance just wasn't where they wanted it to be. And they're like, hey, you know what? Going forward, we're already in 2023. Those systems are pretty much fine. Whereas the Switch is just going flourishing. So it makes sense to port to the Switch, but not really the Xbox One or PlayStation 4. And that is a trend we are seeing become more and more frequent with things like Godfrey Heights using its PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I've been saying for a little while now that 2023 was probably when this now current generation of PS5 and Xbox Series was really gonna.
When you work at a small or medium-sized business, you can only excel to play many roles at once. All while keeping up with ever-growing demands.
Hey, what's up?
Now that your business has chosen to use Microsoft Teams, your communication, collaboration, and organization will take on a whole new meaning.
Start moving along with Microsoft Studios getting spun up really in 2023, and Sony starting to move away from these cross-gen titles.
You want me to go
Now we're
to
just
the
seeing
dojo?
third parties do it. So,
Yeah, that's why I can do
less
the dojo.
and less of the
Yes, I go to the
Xbox
dojo,
One
man.
logo on some of these
Really
consoles. But it's
careful.
starting to become a big multi-platform push for them as we are seeing many titles
But
make
I
their
haven't
way to
even done
PC
anything.
from PlayStation, and we're hearing more and more about how Bungie will be left as basically an independent developer to create games for other platforms. You can have Destiny 2
I guess
continue
it's
to
because
see
I don't
support
really
on
understand the
the
dojo.
Xbox and so on there. But it looks like they have big plans for multi-platform, especially when it comes to some of their live service stuff. This post up over on Push Square, saying Sony bigwig Kenichiro Yoshida has hinted that the company's acquisition of Bungie represents a major step forward in becoming more multi-platform. As previously announced, the Destiny developer
Well, you must want me to see where you ate.
Yoshida also touched briefly on PlayStation's emerging PC business, explaining that the company aims to provide access to our games to as many users as possible, and will be rolling out more PlayStation Studios titles on the storefronts like Steam and the Epic Game Store in the future. And I've been talking for a little while now about how I believe that Sony would eventually get to a point where they have a big budget release that's day one on PC and day one on PlayStation. Like, I don't think they're all of a sudden going to say, okay, yeah, you can have God of War or the next Horizon or Gran Turismo, any of these things on Xbox, but I think they're looking more and more at PC as just a viable platform to get more money from. I mean, really, with PC in general, I've noticed this a lot. It doesn't necessarily cut into the console business as much as I feel like people online believe that it does. Because working in games for as long as I did and being at the different stores, there are a lot of people who just don't want to deal with PC. Just outright. They don't want the drivers, Windows, whatever. They just want to sit down on their couch, play a game. And so while right now anyway, Sony is
you with the
delayed
644?
releases where you You may have God
On the
of War
641 edition.
Horizon show up years later after its launch on the PlayStation. I mean, got as much money as they could there, and it's all of a sudden $10 later. They charge the price on PC. I think you can buy it orders and see how things go. Day one, and also if they incorporate things like roleplay, it would help with things like having a large player base on these different platforms. Oh yeah, you should also talk a bit about sort of the metaverse thing and what about social experiences and how they would leverage their properties. I guess participating in this big metaverse or race thing, but we don't talk much more about that in detail. So I do wonder if they are creating their own VR chat or PlayStation 2, where they will have people essentially live in virtual reality with this VR 2, but I guess we'll wait a bit longer to find out. In our last two news, let's talk about Saints Row. This came out August 23rd, and the show they had last year, I wasn't really feeling it. The characters they were showing their direction, the art style, it wasn't Saints Row, at least how I remember. Well, I think that was just a bad show because some of the previews that they've done recently this past week actually was pretty fun. Like IGN had one, Game Informer, I think Eurogamer, many of them had in-depth previews, which, I mean, I guess that's what they do at the time. You were basically starting to watch 35 minutes of the game, but you were allowed to use that footage in your hands-off preview. Still think it's better to actually play the game, but we have. What they did show off, though, were some pretty interesting aspects when it came to character creation, which is much more in-depth than I was expecting. It also showed a world that is pretty large. One question I had is very empty. However, it looks like the chaos is all there when it comes to Saints Row games. It was described as being closer to the first 2 and not to the outlandish side of things that they got to later on in the series. But the weapons look like they were pretty creative and a lot of fun to use, like the pineapple grenade and some stuff that was a bit silly but still trying to retain the seriousness from it. It is certainly a game that's trying to go back to the Saints Row series while trying to exist in current times, I guess. And the characters, I know you're creating a lot of characters and stuff, but based on what they showed initially in these previews, they just don't look like they're really that good. Thanks, Wando, for be messing with us. We need that Gears game. I was always more of a Gears person over at Halo 1, and that was the main thing. I'm sure it was still on the Xbox platform, but it was always like Gears 4 versus Halo 2 better. I was a bigger Halo fan, so I felt on the side of Halo 3 is the game to play back then. I gotta say, the Gears 4 series was a lot of fun. Like, all the way through it was great. I just never got into the multiplayer at all. So, who knows? Maybe they do this collection, this massive collection of Texas and stuff. When I go back signs grow the gates, and if anyone is caught outside of what happens, they're guaranteed to get murdered. The couple and their friend arrive at the shelter to find one of some of the poorest people in the community. Walking inside, the couple here notice an emergency broadcast is started playing on TV. The others gather around to listen as they're told the purge is about to start. During this time, emergency services will not be available, and with that, an alarm rings out, signaling the purge is officially. Throughout the city, people start to celebrate as they brutally slaughter each other, leaving bodies all over the town. It's absolutely carnage, and the couple nervously in the shelter, but after 12 long outings, an alarm starts blaring. The shutters open, and everyone inside starts cheering. They think they're all safe, but they have no idea that this purge will be unlike anything they've ever seen. Later that day, Adela here arrives at her workplace, but notices several workers missing. Furious, she goes outside hoping to find them, but discovers that he's running after the big workers. Trying to free the animal, she reaches in and manages to pull the police lever, but it's a trap. Suddenly, these bars shut off, locking her in place, and she slips over on top of the cage. Two purgers wearing rabbit costumes come out of a dumpster, and she begs them for help, but one of the men tells her that this is the forever purge. No one can stop it, and it's just getting started. Okay, of course this was a trap. This is an urban environment, and people don't just leave their goats inside 300-pound cages in the middle of the city. It's completely outside of its natural environment, and that's why setting this goat free is the stupidest thing she could possibly do. As soon as it's released, it's going to wander around and eventually cross a busy street where it will be run over by a car. This woman is also right in the middle of her work shift, only 2 hours after the purge has ended. That means even if she managed to save this goat, she had no plan on what to do next. This woman spent plenty of time inspecting the cage. With looking at this chain on the side, it's not hard to figure out how this thing is designed. The lever pulls on the chain, which rotates the gear and swings the door forward. She should have realized that standing right in front of the gate while you try to open it is a pretty bad idea. And with that kind of brain activity, it's no wonder she fell in this trap. Now, you might be thinking that Adela here should have no reason to suspect this would happen. The purge is over, and nobody's allowed to murder anyone after 7 a.m., but she really should have known better. If you look here at the TV screen, you'll see that one of the headlines is about a man who was arrested for celebrating the purge too early. When you let 330 million people kill each other every year, there must be thousands of cases where people don't follow the rules. As you can see in the background, there are no policemen or military out in the streets, and all services are concentrated on cleaning up the bodies in the city, so it wouldn't be hard for a bunch of drunk purgers to keep killing the next day. Now, as for this trap, what's disappointing here is that the woman didn't even try to escape. If you look here along the steel poles, there aren't any holes along the sides that would tell us there's a locking mechanism that's keeping her pinned down. If she had just tried pushing up on the metal bar here, she might have been able to get out and roll off on the opposite side of the cage. And since she didn't close the shutters to her workplace, she could easily run back inside to find help. But there was one way she could have used her downtime, which would have been much more satisfying. Mythic Heroes is a multi-civilization idle RPG game, and it's perfect for those who want to play strategically but don't have the time. And with AFK mode, your heroes level up and grow stronger even when you're busy doing other things. You can use the Auto Ultimate feature to clear campaigns at high speed, and the Auto Assault function to automatically enter the next level with minimal clicks. That way you can progress quickly and collect rewards even when you're busy escaping a death trap, so you can enjoy the game no matter what kind of playstyle you have. It has so many great features. You can choose heroes from various civilizations around the globe played in 9 mythical worlds. You can even collect SSR and UR heroes, including Zeus, the Greek god of the sky and thunder, and Tamamo, the legendary Japanese fox spirit. Each hero has exclusive skills and weapons, and by enhancing their abilities and combining those with powerful artifacts and divinities, you can outsmart your enemies in epic battles. Finding the most strategic ways to arrange your team's factions and formations will be the key to winning even the toughest fight. Mythic Heroes is also a great platform to play with your friends. You can not only team up with or challenge them, but also hire their strongest heroes and use them in your battles. It's time to experience a next-gen turn-playing game from your world. Click the link in the description box and download the app, and automatically receive a $200 individual gift card after downloading the game. And don't forget to choose your favorite SSR hero to start. Thank you, Mythic Heroes, for sponsoring this video. Adela here is completely helpless, but that's when someone sneaks up and attacks the purgers from behind. It's her boss, and the man fights one of them with a metal pipe before he bursts his head. Running up the safe, he lifts the bar off the bed. and when he's suddenly attacked with a second perjurer, throws him against the wall. Adela here grabs the man from behind, cracking his neck directly between the strike time and her lost back against him, killing the perjurer instantly before one vanishes her mind. Their day is about to get on wrong course. The police arrive at the scene with their guns drawn, thinking that they just killed twice. Arresting them, they're taken into police custody while their girlfriend watch nerves in the background. Meanwhile, her husband Juan and his friend Titi arrive at the ranch where they work, but when they see the horses running free, they realize something is wrong. Getting out of the car, the men head to the house where they can hear someone talking. Looking around the corner, Juan here sees a group of purgers and realizes they're about to execute his employer along with his entire family. The leader here takes off his mask and tells them that there's going to be a revolution. The purge will never end, and the rich must now pay for their crimes.
With Metro by T-Mobile, make your movie night epic with 5G. Get more choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones.
It's a helpless place. You never notice them behind them. Even rich have their guns drawn and stand in position. Noticing the workers, the old man creates a distraction and accuses the leader of being a hypocrite, pointing out that by using the purge, they're just supporting a system designed to eliminate people just like him. The leader has heard enough and shoots the old man in the head, but that's when Juan and his friend come out of his head. Rushing forward, they take the purgers completely by surprise, killing their leader as the rest of them retreat into the house. The worker here entices the rest of the family to set them free, but they're not safe. With gunfire echoing the distance, the Cruises trucks full of purgers on their way to the ranch. No choice but to run. They sprint for a maximum park nearby, and all of them get inside, driving out of there before the purgers can gun them down. Okay, this situation is going to run a lot worse, because everyone managed to survive except for this old guy. But the truth is, they're better off without him. This man was literally saying that he speaks for the whole family when he told the purger to go himself. Talking like this is just a way to get everyone killed faster, and if I was this cowboy here, I'd tell the purger to shoot this man just to shut him up. The truth is, if he wanted to stall for time, an FBI hostage negotiator would tell you that it's better to get them talking about themselves. If you look at the situation, it's immediately clear that this guy wants to talk. He's lined up the whole family and given them a long speech about inequality and economic oppression. To him, this is an ideological battle, and that means what he really wants is to be understood. Now this might sound far-fetched, but it's a proven tactic with real science to back it up. Mirror neurons are one of the most important discoveries in the last decade of neuroscience, because experts have discovered that they control a wide range of involuntary human behavior. If we can engage this guy's mirror neurons by appearing to be understanding and likable, we just might be able to survive. And there's tons of scientific evidence that emotions are intertwined in all of our decisions. Even Wall Street investors make million-dollar deals every day. This concept is used very effectively as a tool that hostage negotiators call tactical evidence, and it's exactly what we should be using to create a better distraction. Right now, all we need to do is stall for time, and the workers are already behind them and waiting for the chance to strike. Maybe the reason this man was shot because he told them the wrong. So I would have encouraged the man to continue talking by repeating his words back to him as a sign that I'm paying attention. This would have been a much better distraction and far better had organized to better attacking the scene. The group heads into town and turns on the radio to find out that violence is broken out across the country. An army of revolutionaries are killing everyone in an endless purge, and it's absolutely horrifying. That's when this man gets a call. News his wife has just been arrested and is headed to a police station. The group drives to the suburbs and finds that the roads are blocked, but Juan tells them to walk to the station by himself. The cowboy agrees to wait here until he gets back, and the group splits up. Juan leaving the others to find his wife. After the other survivors leave, the cowboy looks in the mirror, noticing a masked man walking by, and he suddenly realizes that they're both in danger. He uses like a gun for protection and tells her to lock the doors, and he goes inside to lock the doors. All of a sudden, the masked man appears in the window, startling the woman, and he tries to break in, but at the last second, her husband guns him down. That's when another purger attacks him from behind, but luckily, he manages to fight him off before swinging a sledgehammer straight into the maniac's head. Meanwhile, Adela and her boss are stuck in the back of a police van with two other purgers. They race through the streets trying to avoid the chaos, and the cops call for backup, but it's too late. Someone fires an RPG at them, killing the policeman and setting the van spinning out of control. It lands in the middle of the street where chaos has broken out, but inside the van, Adela here has survived the crash. Suddenly, the doors open, and her husband Juan is standing on the other side. Relieved he's still alive, she gets out of the
the van and they run across the road as the Mack truck pulls up beside them. The group gets in and leaves the burning city behind, but they'll soon discover that this purge is much bigger than they could ever imagine. Okay, this is absolutely terrifying, because if the whole country looks just like this, then driving around in a truck is going to get us killed. We need to find the closest place that's safe enough to hide, and for me, that would be this guy's house. The cowboy literally has a ranch on the outskirts of town with the best security system money can buy. It's managed to survive the purge every single year, and is designed to keep out small raiding parties just like this. It's no guarantee, but right now everything is a risk, and I'd much rather fight to protect a fortified home than to wander the streets during an endless purge. Now, it's important to point out that all these problems could have been completely avoided if you just left the country. This cowboy is clearly wealthy, and with that kind of money, there's no good reason he should stay in America during the purge. But this is not an option for the majority of people. The purpose of the purge is to target economically disadvantaged citizens, and most of them won't have access to a bunker or be able to afford a death-free vacation every year. Plane tickets on purge day would be priced ridiculously high, and every road out of the country would have millions of Americans attempting to leave at the same time. The poorest people would be stranded and just have to find a way to survive. This cowboy is not one of those people, and if he had thought ahead to protect his family, he wouldn't even be in this situation. Now earlier, this man was brave enough to get out of his truck to go and hunt down the purgers, and when I say brave, I mean stupid. He didn't need to go outside at all, because this piece of a vehicle is no match for two straight purgers, and it's much safer to wait inside. If you look down the street here, you can tell there's nothing else going on in this part of town, so it would have made a lot more sense to drive around the block and circle back when the purgers leave. Now, if he had to get out of the car, this man found the worst possible way to protect himself. When he steps outside, he didn't consider that the sound of him opening and closing the door will be heard by the purgers, so they'll know exactly where he is and what he's doing. If I were him, I would have looked under the truck to see their feet, and that way I'll know their exact positions on the other side of the vehicle. There's not very much vertical space here between the ground and the truck, but it might be enough to shoot at their legs and injure them. This was a technique that was famously used by SWAT team member Donnie Anderson in the 1997 North Hollywood shootout, where the cop managed to shoot a bank robber who was hiding behind a car. Now, the truck is too low to the ground, and we can't see the purger's feet. Instead of walking around the truck like this guy, I would walk away from it. Since the threats can only come from two sides, putting distance between yourself and the vehicle will make the field of view much more narrow, and you'll be able to see both positions in a single glance. When they come around the corner, you'll be able to react more quickly, and that's way better than what this man is doing. Later that day, the group stops at a motel to scavenge for supplies, when a breaking news headline appears on the TV reporting that the entire United States is under martial law and soldiers will be sent into every city to deal with the purgers. Outside, the immigrant tries to make a call, but can't get any phone signal and tells the cowboy that the cell towers are being cut down. His wife Adela walks up to them and tells them that cities everywhere are being overrun by purgers. There's no place left in America that's safe for them to go, and no way to get help. Back inside, the cowboy's sister finds a purge flag and looks for anything else they can use, when suddenly the radio starts playing a Mexican broadcast. Juan's friend listens to it and realizes this information could save their lives. Bringing it outside for the others to listen, a news report announces that both Mexico and Canada are opening their borders until the purges calm down. But there's one catch. The borders will be closing in 6 hours, and with no other option, they decide their only choice is to head to Mexico. That night, they drive to the border with only 3.5 hours left until it closes. The only people still awake are Juan and the cowboy, but the silence is interrupted when they see trouble in their rearview mirror. A group of purgers on motorcycles start shooting at them, and it wakes up the others in a panic. Surrounding the vehicle, the purgers demand they pull the truck over, but that's when the cowboy's sister sees the purge flag they took and gets a clever idea. She holds it against the window to make them think they're on the same side, and luckily, the purgers take the bait. The group is left alone and they continue on their way to the border, but things are about to get much more dangerous from here on out.
People will say that catch was a total fluke. But you'll know it was the fabulous top you got for an amazing price at Marshall's. Anything can happen with a top like that.
3, 2, 1, go!
A ridiculously creamy, chocolatey, snackable ice cream experience.
Okay, this woman was smart to hold up the flag, but they honestly should have thought of this before leaving the motel. Now, as ridiculous as it sounds, this was a very common tactic used in the Revolutionary War, where colonists would
Because he was getting in the coat, so I knew he going in somewhere because he was getting in the coat.